Bhagavatam,
one
chapter 16,
verses 17 and 18.
And you said 17 has no
purport.
Has no purport?
No, it doesn't.
Are you kidding me? I'm seeing a long purport here saying it doesn't.
1:16, 17 has no purpose.
It's what? Canto 1, chapter 16.
Okay, so what you're saying is go to.
I will put the verse on the screen anyway.
I can see it. I cannot see it because I'm using.
Okay.
I'm using a small phone.
Okay.
So Bhagavatam 1:16, 18. Okay. So Dharma Pedakine Charan. Is that the verse?
I'm going to 18. Yes. Dhamma Padekena Charan.
Okay. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttama Devim Saraswati Gatsattato Jaya Mutirayat Nasra Prayesu Bhadesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhava Itinaistiki. So SRIMAD Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 16, text 1a. Creation. So let's get started. Dhamma padekena charan vichayam upalabhyagam prichati smasru vadanam vivasam ewamataram. What for what translation? Dharma, the personality of religious principles. Pada, leg. Ekayana, on one only. Charan, wandering. Vichayam, overtaken by the shadow of grief. Upalabhya, having met. Gam, the cow. Prichatisma, asked. Asruvadanam, with tears on the face. With what Sam, one who has lost her offspring. Iwa, like. Mataram, the mother. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace, His Confirmatory. Shila Abhachan of the Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Kijai. Shila Prabhupada Kijai. The personality of religious principles. Dharma was wandering about in the form of a bull. And he met the personality of art in the form of a cow, who appeared to grieve like a mother who had lost her child. She had tears in her eyes, and the beauty of her body was lost. Thus, Dharma questioned the art as follows. Purport. The bull is the emblem of the moral principle, and the cow is a representative of the earth. When the bull and the cow are in a joyful mood, it is to be understood that the people of the world are also in a joyful mood. The reason is that the bull helps production of grains in the agricultural field, and the cow delivers milk, the miracle of aggregate food values. The human society therefore maintains these two important animals very carefully so that they can wander everywhere in cheerfulness. But at the present moment, in this age of Kali, both the bull and the cow are now being slaughtered and eaten up as foodstuff by a class of men who do not know the Brahmanical culture. The bull and the cow can be protected from for the food of all human society simply by the spreading of the Brahmanical culture as the topmost perfection of all cultural affairs. By advancement of such culture, the morale of society is properly maintained. And so peace and prosperity are also attained without extraneous effort. When Brahmanical culture deteriorates, the cow and the bull are mistreated, and the resultant actions are prominent by the following symptoms. Swayam Rupam Karamaya Dadati Swa Padantika. Vanchakal Pataribya Cha Kripasudya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saraswati Gaurava Charine Nirvisesa Sanghavadi Pasachati Siddhara. Banda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sabodhi Kodaya Pushpavanta Chitam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Gadara Siva Sadi Sikora.
I don't want to go.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So, welcome to this Friday gathering.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. If you still have the text available to you, if you can read from the bull, I think you inadvertently misread here.
What is the text?
No, I mean here, of course you can. It said where it starts with the bull and the cow can be protected for the good. You misread, you thought it to be as food.
I thought it to be what?
Yeah, the word is good, but you misread it and read it as food.
As food?
Yes.
Oh, what is it?
Which will be an abomination.
What paragraph is it?
Let me highlight it for Maharaj.
But at the present moment, in this age of Kali, both the bull and the cow are now being slaughtered and eaten up as foodstuff. That's what is here.
No, continue.
By a class of men who do not know the Brahmanical culture.
Yes,
the bull,
the next one.
The bull and the cow can be protected for the good,
yes,
of all human society, simply by the spreading of the Brahmanical culture. What was it that I said earlier?
Okay, instead of protected for the good, it was read as protected for the food.
Oh, for the food?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. For those who may be listening to it on YouTube. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you very much for that.
Hare Krishna.
For that correction.
Yeah, because the prints are small for you. Yeah.
Okay, so here it's obvious that the modern society is beginning to become awakened to the culture of animal rights and animal protection. Unfortunately, people who are even championing causes in the advocacy for animal rights, in some cases, those advocates, those activists, they are not vegetarians. And not to speak of not eating cow. They're not vegetarians means they eat anything and everything. And I'm not just joking. I'm not just generating some amusement. I'll give you some graphic example. When I was younger and doing some academic programs, conferences, going to interfaith programs and all this stuff, there was one organization that set up a program on what do you call animal rights protection, animal rights and animal protection. So when I was to make my presentation, I act like a crazy person sometimes, and I think this is why I'm suffering. So my sinful reactions, they follow me bed after bed. So before I made my presentation, I asked them that, so do you, the organizers of this program, this is amazing, you are advocating animal rights, protection of animals. Now tell me, how many of you here are vegetarians? I'm asking the organizers of the program, not all the attendees even. And they were taken aback, They were not vegetarians. So this type of people not walking their talk. People are only making some showcase advocacy for the purpose of getting some public admiration, getting some funds, some donations from appropriate quarters from donors or from governments, whatever. So this type of things are going on. And this is going on because there is no sustained Brahminical culture. People are not trained in Brahminical culture. So no matter what, when people find themselves as square pegs in round holes, they're social misfits, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing. They may advocate that, yes, let's keep peace. Let there be peace. And, the other, I think last year or so, we had a program. The first Russian first science conference. So I made two presentations. I made one based on the BHAGAVATAM. I think Canto 3 about the movement of the soul from the time of pregnancy. I call it embryology. That is basically the technical name. So when I was making the presentation, so I made it clear to them that I'm not just an advocate of no abortion. I'm giving these scientific graphic details from a very ancient scientific knowledge, scientific information culture based on the SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. And I gave them the reference. I said, you can go to this book, come to this, chapter this to this, and you get all the details of what I'm talking about. So I remember one of the questions that one female professor asked was, the idea of abortion was to maintain a balance in population. What do you think about that? I say, yeah, when people want to do mischiefs, they can use anything to rationalize. But to maintain a moderate population, you are not touching the root of the matter. The root is illicit sex. People are having sex anyhow, just like sex is natural, pregnancy is also natural. But you are refusing to talk about that. You're talking about, some external factor. So some of the professors, they were laughing how I was just straightforward about it. So I told them, look, I'm not just an advocate, I'm a practitioner, okay? So, because in academia, a number of people, they want to just make a show of their knowledge or information culture, so they may make a presentation and even write a book, but they don't follow what is inside it. So people who are not aware of the fact that there is a culture that is based on Brahmanical development, of Brahmanical values, it becomes difficult to deal with them. It becomes difficult to discuss with them. Because when you talk about the evils that go on in society, like animal slaughter and so many other things that are bringing about requital justice on the planet, that there is an outcome or depletion of human values. And people don't really know the root cause of the problem. So we are committing violence. We are killing the cows and the bulls to satisfy our palate. It's not that there is no food. It's not that there are no grains. But we just like to eat the pork. Or we just like to eat the flesh of the bull and the cow. Yes, we do these things, and then we expect that we will commit this type of heinous activities with impunity. Because there are no laws that will impel the cops to come after us when we kill the cow, when we kill the bull. It's not part of the criminal code. It's not part of the Criminal Procedure Acts. So why not? So some people, when they come to Krishna consciousness, in some cases, they want to go back to immediately, then they become Christians. And then, when you raise the issue about meat eating, they say, our religion permits it. Good for you. So, there is a need for the development of Brahmanical class. And it requires just some training. I remember one of Saswarup's books about Prabhupada's Lilamrita, one of those chapters, I remember it's titled Boston Brahmanas. So Brahmins could be trained, yes. In modern culture, Brahmins could be very much trained. Someone could be born a militia, but he could be trained to develop Brahmanical qualities. And who become detested in investing their energies in sinful activities. And no one is checking him, no policeman, no law enforcement agent is after him or her, but they just voluntarily, they detest it, they are not interested, they don't have any taste for that. Voluntarily they give up. So this is based on the new character trait, the new values that have been developed through training. And the training that Prabhupada has provided for us is to cultivate bhakti, beginning with chanting of Krishna's names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, if one is involved or practicing this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, just in the very near future, he develops and he's associating with the devotees of the Lord. He's taking prasadam alone. He's being regulated in the activities. Very soon, it becomes fully developing character. And higher values begin to beckon on him or beg him to be used in that individual service. People struggle to be able to develop higher values. Just by practicing Krishna consciousness, you can develop the higher values. This Brahmanical culture that Prabhupada repeatedly mentioned in a purport here. And you have that natural tendency to be able to create a viable future by not aligning with the idea that cow and a bull should be slaughtered. Of course, sometimes we think that this is no big deal, but it's a big deal for a number of people out there, because to give up that, to renounce that palate, the meat eating, is just a problem. And as long as we are able to maintain, look at it, even for devotees, you just look at it. If you want to go back to Godhead, but you know, in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is a cowherd boy. Krishna is a cowherd boy. It's not someone who is so paka, you know, in educational development. Krishna doesn't have PhDs. He's not a book writer, you know. He's not a big manager. He's just a cowherd boy. And he rules the world. He rules the world. So if we want to go back to Godhead and we're not trying to be able to develop that attitude of cowherdship, how many of us even know how to milk cows? And this is the joy in Krishna consciousness. When you find early in the morning, Krishna goes to the barn, and his boyfriends are already available. They're already around. They go to the barn to milk the cows, and after that, they come to take breakfast. Mother Yasoda provides breakfast. He tells Manu Mangal and all the boys that you know, if you're not there to eat, Krishna will not. He's not going to eat much. So be available. You know, go to your homes, take a shower, and come back and take your breakfast with Krishna. And when they finish breakfast, what do? They're heading into the forest with the cows and calves for grazing. So we should think about it. We want to go back to Godhead, and we don't want to practice anything that what is transpiring in the spiritual world. if we want to go back to Godhead, we should start now to practice the activities that are going on in the spiritual world, like cow-headed, milking the cow, taking care of cows. Otherwise, we may become very powerful preachers. But what is the community that is practicing what you're preaching about taking care of cows? So that this is one of the wonderful things that Dhruva Maharaj has done in Gitanagari. And you can take anybody to Gitanagari. You can take the President of the United States to Gitanagari and they will bow. Just a functional farm community that is based on cow protection. The cow and the bull they are the focus of the farm. So we want to be happy, then we should treat Krishna's friends nicely. And Krishna calls his cows, just by his flute, he calls the cows. It's just like by the flute, he calls the gopis. The same thing with the cows. So people are eating the cows, and they said they want to go. They're going to go to heaven. They're killing the cows, they're killing the bulls, and they are advocating that they are perfect souls. They're bound. They are heaven bound. So we are very fortunate. Prabhupada has given us, provided this legacy of devotional culture, where we are able to become exposed to what is transpiring in the spiritual world, the activities of the spiritual world. Cow herding, eating, cow milking. These are major activities in the spiritual world. And anyone, you don't need degrees to become a cowhead. So we have to think about this and think of ways how we could facilitate the stoppage or deter society from the inflicting sufferings on the bull and the cow. Because when this is transpiring, there's no question of happiness in society. There's no question of peace. We can't be violent and expect to be peaceful. That is too ironical. So, are there some comments or some questions?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj. We were impatiently waiting for your infatuating laughter, and you gave us some today. So, dear devotees, if anyone has a question, okay, Salika Prabhu, please go ahead. Unmute. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances of those.
Hey, my good Salika, Dandavat.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Just give my Dandavat to all your members of your family.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Mother. Chandra is just arriving in the States. She's doing her master's.
Arriving in the States?
Yeah.
Okay, she's doing a master's?
Yes, Maharaj.
Congratulations, that is very good.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, you started the lecture in a very humorous but realistic and thoughtful manner. And I couldn't but just burst into very heavy laughter because just yesterday, I was invited to speak at one event where we're talking about religion as a tool for developing community peace and cohesion. And just the way you started, and somehow or the other, I I had a short period to speak. So realizing that I won't be having opportunity to go deep into the philosophy of religion and its role in developing peace. So I just started by asking a question, just something similar to what, and I was asking that everyone is looking for peace, is talking about religion, but it's amazing how almost no one knows what is religious principles. And when I started in that tone, the organizer started waving me and giving me eye to please stop, not go there. Because he knew where I was going. So he started blinking his eye, shaking his hand, and he was just shaking his hand and raising his hand where he was. To change the mood in which I was going to speak. So when you started like this, I was just remembering the scenario yesterday, I was just laughing. So it's actually very pathetic that people want a peaceful environment, a peaceful atmosphere, but they're not living peacefully in their own lives. But more importantly, my question is, you gave a very vivid example of Gita Nagari, and I just started thinking in our ISKCON global settings, there are few places where we have this kind of activities going on, because an Englishman says, you dress yourself before addressing others. Some of us are very finding it difficult to comprehend our situation, especially in West Africa, because for several years we tried to see how we can engineer some of these kind of activities to start, but it never happened. Individually, we are weak. Now we are not having so much of capacity to do much of this. What to do?
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarika, for your stipulating question. See, the point is just simple, and that simplicity of the point is that executing the orders or attempting to execute the orders, the seemingly difficult instructions of the spiritual master is the very root of success. You see, even I was upset. I was upset when one of Prabhupada's disciples, the Guru, one year he was giving a talk in Mappa, and giving a class, and he was complaining about America, that America is so difficult to preach and all these things. So I was so upset. In fact, one devotee from Washington, D.C., who at that time was not even initiated, who was here in Mayapur doing Bhakti Sastri or something like that, he left. He went back to America because of irritation from that type of open complaint. So my thought over the issue is that, I mean, it's like, Bhakti SWAMI Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj could have also just complained about West Africa that is so difficult. And West Africa is very difficult. But he generated ideas. He had the skills. He had the skill sets. He had the will. There are two things. You have to have the will and the skills to be able to marry them together and become successful. So here we have like someone complaining about the whole country. So my thought was that if you don't have the skills to do a preaching, then better find ways to develop the skills to do that instead of just discouraging everyone else. So the whole thing is that West Africa, it might be very difficult externally, but there are so many facilities there for preaching that could be tapped. But We're not organized there. We're not very organized there. There is too much of bipartisanism, and there is too much of divisionism. There is too much of lack of cooperation among the leaders. There is no cogent ways to be able to bring people together, to work together for a common goal. Look at it. We have to work together for a common goal, and things could be easy, because then you bring the resources together, you bring the skills together, you bring the different will, people's different will together, and it makes it easy. But you see, we are really like, you know, everybody going divergent. And so that makes it difficult. But honestly speaking, there are so many resources there. Krishna Pad was successful because he had the will, he had the courage, and he had the skill sets. And if we simply follow the instructions that he gave to us, or even follow in his footsteps, we can also become successful. And I tell people, even in America, people complain that, you know, preaching is so difficult. Some people complain that preaching is so difficult. If it is so difficult, then why some people are very, very successful? So the bottom line is that, okay, I'll give an example. Nigeria is one of the richest countries, but the money is in few hands because of corruption. So if we are determined, Krishna could arrange that we tap into those resources that are in few hands, and somebody could just come on to help with a particular project. But see, for you to be successful in an organization, there has to be a cohesion of thoughts and ideas. When the core, when the nucleus is not consolidated, when there is too much of division in the nucleus, it creates divergence. And therefore, success could be far-fetched, or sustainable success could be far-fetched. So yeah, a number of things, a number of opportunities are there. And if we simply focus on those, we could be successful. But the essential factor is to consolidate the nucleus of the preaching. That is very much lacking there. And you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And when that is not there, I remember when we were building the Lagos temple, when Krishna Pad asked us, you know, he called me, we are looking for land inside the bush. And then he called me one day. We came into the room where he was staying in that small apartment where we were staying there. And he said, Vasudeva, I want a temple in this Ajao estate. That's what he told me. That's what he told me. Okay? So I had the hard knocks all the time. When things are very hot, then he comes to Vasudeva and said, that's what he told me. He said he wants a temple to be built in Ajao estate there. And this court has no dime, no cent in a bank that will contribute towards the purchase of land. So that was his desire, and we prosecuted it. One of the things that I constantly reiterated, I told the devotees that if we don't cooperate, we can take years to build a temple. But if we consolidate the nucleus and work together, Krishna can send help from nowhere, here and there. You know what? In the beginning, to buy the land, there was a competition among donors. And it's only 3 people who purchased the land, who paid for the land. And so, I remember when Kavichandra Swami Maharaj came there, and then he saw how the building was going. He asked me, Vasudeva, how did you make it? I said, it's Krishna. So he said, he said, I know it's Krishna. How did you make it? Yeah, so because I had that conception that when there is proper cooperation, proper mindset, togetherness, then Krishna can allow anything to happen. But when we are too internally divided, and we are just struggling to maintain our status quo, and then every little thing becomes difficult. And so what we need to do is to understand that there are facilities there, there are opportunities there, but there's a need to be able to consolidate the nucleus of the preaching so that Krishna can send help without too much of, effort. Salik, did I make any contribution to your question?
Thank you very much, Maharaj. I understand. You did very nicely. Thank you.
Any other comment or question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Maharaj. I really appreciate your answer to Salika Prabhu's question because it's more or less like a follow-up to what we were discussing on this forum yesterday. And of course, you were not here, but maybe Shri Krishna spoke to you that this was what the devotees were discussing. I have one question. The question is, of course, we all know how much Prabhupada stressed on the importance of farming. And some time ago, Kavichandra Maharaj made it a policy that anyone who spoke on this platform would speak something on agriculture, encouraging agriculture. But here is the case. We had a very big land in Ghana, Maharaj, you know about it. And when a devotee becomes an insubordinate, or maybe a devotee makes a mistake, then the authorities threaten him or her that, okay, you did this, we're going to send you to the farm. So the farm became like a scary place. Nobody wanted to go to the farm. You were talking about the importance of taking care of the cows. That's what takes place in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. But here is a case, you know how as little children, parents will be asking, when you grow up, what do you want to become? When you grow up, what do you want to become? So we had one devotee who was a cowhead guy, and his son was asked by one of the leaders that when you grow up, what do you want to become? And he said, I want to become a cowhead boy. And the leader said, you are very stupid. Excuse me. He said, you are a very stupid boy. Of one profession, that's what you want to become. So, Maharaj, I know you love education so much. So if somebody approached you and said to you, Maharaj, I want to become a cowhead boy instead of going to school, what would you say to him or her?
It's a simple thing. That is the main activity that is going on in the spiritual world. In other words, his consciousness is not part of this world. And if he is able to integrate his thoughts, ideas, and skills to be able to build a strong foundation for what he presupposes. You see, to presuppose something is one thing. To be able to integrate that thought or idea into a lifeline activities to develop the reality, to be able to implement your thoughts, to generate your thoughts into actions. And that's the amazing thing. And so if someone says he wants to become a cowhead boy, I don't know that that is the highest service that you can do for Lord Krishna, because Krishna is Govinda, is the lover of the cows. The other point is that if we also have some interest in understanding that when we have the cows, I mean, I can give vivid example of the case of Gita Nagri. When we have the cows and we take proper action, taking care of them, we get everything. Because from the cows, we can get produce that we'll be able to sell to the different malls and to the public and get lots of financial resources. The problem is that the very concept of agriculture is being denigrated. And so if you're not working in an office, then it's like you're not regarded. But I understand that we need food, and everyone has to be able to buy in that idea that we need food. Not only do we need food, but we need also spiritual food. And so if someone has the notion that they want to become a cowhead boy, that's amazing. That's a wonderful thought provocation. That's a wonderful thought provocation. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. But in this case, he was scolded. He was chastised. That you are a very stupid boy.
You see, there's a problem. We have a problem. We have a problem in our society.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. One of the homes where I stayed in America, the host told me a story. They have many kids, and their first kid is not a devotee. And so I asked that, why is this boy not a devotee? And then I was told that the boy, when he was a kid, he went to the temple with the parents. And during the lecture, you are complaining about your leader who scolded somebody. But here is proper disciple, the SWAMI, who was asked a question in a class. And you see, if someone may ask a naughty question, a nonsense question, and in fact, when I was doing my graduate studies in critical, creative, and caring thinking, we are taught one of the courses centered on how to respond to bad questions. So when people are not cultured on how to respond to bad situations, they could create some type of abnormal development for some people, and they will become disinterested. So this boy, because he was scolded, instead of his question being answered, he told his mom, forget it. I am not going back to that temple with you for the rest of my life. And he never. So that's a good lesson for us. We should learn. In fact, learning is a lifelong process. No one should think that they have become an octet electron in terms of learning. If even you have 3 PhDs, your learning is very limited. If even you have 5 PhDs, your learning is very limited. If even you've attained Rasa Bhakti, your learning, your understanding of Krishna is very limited. So, for us to think that we know everything and someone asks something, we should learn. And this is a little bit difficult because someone was asking me a question about in Washington, D.C., when they asked me to give a talk on the IFAS forum one day. And someone asked a question about, trying to defeat someone in argument. I said, for me, I don't try to defeat people in arguments because that is the work of religious people and philosophers. I'm not. I'm a management scientist. What we do is to address people's problems, to make them friends. Then the person, there was a reaction there. He said, if one of this person says something wrong and something improper, I said, there is a way to address improper statements from people and buy them over. And I give an example of how, when I was using Facebook, I used to post some things regarding leadership and management. And then I remember one time I posted something on leadership, and one devotee came to make a mess of himself. He said something that cannot be backed up with any reference. So in my response to him, I thanked him for making a contribution to the line of discussion. And then I said, and I would like to add that. Then I went on to say all the things I needed to say with all my references and everything else. And then he inboxed me. He inboxed me to say, what type of person are you? I made a mess of myself here. Instead of you to chastise me, you did not. You just, you're thanking me for making a contribution. I said, this is what I was taught. This is the skill I was taught in graduate school. And I've benefited from it so much in my interaction with people that sometimes people tend to wonder how to make the difference. So someone may ask something that you did not expect. It is not our place, or it is our place to see how we can help that person. That is called proaction. When we are reactive, we can demotivate anybody. Because all of us, we do have patients that other people may not see it very nicely. So yeah, the important point there is that we have to see how we are making the best use of our interactions in our relationships. Motivating people who have their own ideas is an important factor. Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We'll go to Mitravinda Devi, please, unmute. Well, maybe I find her question here in the chat room, Maharaj. So Mitravinda is saying the reason I raised my hand was to address the aspect of balance or imbalance in caring nicely for cows, yet not taking care of or treating compassionately the devotees. In other words, it's nice that we try to take very good care of the cows, but if we're taking very good care of the cows, but do not have any compassion for the devotees, we do not care about the devotees. What does that mean?
Yeah, it means that we are lacking the essence of it. You can, but just like we can chant Hare Krishna for the sake of chanting our rounds, but chanting Hare Krishna is different from chanting our rounds.
Wow, good point.
So taking good care of the cows is like a duty. But do we love the devotees? I mean, it's like also, you take care of the cows, do we love the cows? Or we do it as a duty? But at least if even we we are doing this out of duty, is better than not doing anything at all. It's step by step. It's just like chanting. We get into offensive chanting, then we get to the clearing stage. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We know your time is really late, your end there, so we wouldn't want to hold you up so long. But Hare Chakra Prabhu has his hand up. Hare Chakra Prabhu, please unmute.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
What's your face?
Oh, he's at work.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Okay.
Maharaj, thank you for the class. And yeah, I'm a follow-up to the questions they've asked about if someone comes to you and say that he wants to be a cowhead boy. And yeah, you see, just when you were answering your question, you even cited an example about a skill that you were you developed whilst you were in graduate school. And that skill has helped you a lot. Practically speaking, what I realized also is that, well, sometimes, like you said, Gita Nagri, for example, how the cow protection is going on nicely. Because the person who is there now taking care of those things is a graduate. And he has so much skills when it comes to like the way of taking care of these cows. He has skills. So if someone even desires to be a cowhead boy and the person doesn't have the skills to do it, how is he going to do it?
Mm.
So isn't it imperative that such a person, if he gets the opportunity to be properly educated so that he can develop these unique skills about taking care of the cows? Is that not going to help much rather than just someone says, because I have the desire to be a cowhead boy and because that is what is being done in the spiritual world, then I want to become a cowhead boy?
All right, then it's not.
Hare Chakra, why you have to bring up this type of question?
Because we know that is your field, Maharaj.
Okay. I'm a little bit hard when it comes to skills development, and I don't want people to follow my style because I know, like, you know, my personal assistant in New York, she's a white lady. When she's immigration lawyer. So Chakra, when you have immigration issues, you can contact her. So when she approached me that she wants me to be her mentor, I said that you have to pay a price. She said, what is the price? She said, so I said, you have to go to graduate school. So she said she already had a master's in law. I said, all right, then you go get a PhD. So she, as a lawyer, she argued back and forth until later she decided to follow the instruction. She's finished. And from that, the family became favorable to Krishna consciousness because initially the family was very much against. So but then now when they found out that their daughter is pursuing a PhD in law, you know, they became overwhelmed with joy. So the bottom line is that some people, not just for themselves, but for those around them who are not devotees, they could be motivated if the person they know is involved in higher skills development for a sustainable future, like Chakra had mentioned. Yeah, Dhruva is an engineer, and so he has a lot of skills. One of those things that I had mentioned to some of your leaders in West Africa is that, because I mention it publicly again, because one of the things that I normally would like doing is to not just keep quiet when some issues need to be addressed. So I mentioned to some of the leaders there that we have to get into a process, or we have to get a step ahead, where people who are coming, we should encourage them to develop some skills. And when you have those when you have the required skill sets, your communities will become more eased out with productivity and performance. And so when we have people who have skills, and this also goes to our children, especially the second generation devotees who are having children, we have to see that we are preparing our children to go into the bigger society. So the idea is that, yes, like Chakra mentioned, when people have skills, they could become more useful to themselves, to their families, and to the society. They could become more productive, and their skills will facilitate high performance. Yeah, a number of places I've been to, I've seen how this is being geared towards a productive end. And even in India here, one of the devotees that I met, he's doing some program, a civil engineer, very young devotee. He's doing a program in graduate school in engineering, civil engineering. And it's because also his family is coming from a family where both parents are professors. So it became easy for him. So, but then the bottom line is that I agree with what Chakra had mentioned, that Dhruva, because he has skills, he has developed skills. So to develop Gita Nagari becomes a little bit not so much of a difficult thing for him. So that's a good point that you raised, and we should encourage, especially our children, those who are interested in learning, to actually develop skills, because it will be better for them for the future and for the society too. Because when you have skills, your service orientation becomes completely different, and then you'll be able to have better ways of having some limitations and boundaries in terms of what you do and how to be able to sustain what you do. Yeah, so I agree with you, Chakra. I quite agree with you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
No.
Anyone else with any question before Maharaj leaves? Maharaj, there was a study done some few years ago.
What?
Some studies done some few years ago, and
Studies?
Yes, studies. And it was found out that anyone who takes care of cows develops some amazing virtues naturally.
Okay.
And so they cited an example of Nelson Mandela.
Okay.
Nelson Mandela, when he was a young boy, he used to take care of cows.
Oh.
Yeah, he used to take care of cows. And by taking care of the cows, he imbibed the virtues emanating from the cows.
Mm.
But like Harichakra Prabhu was saying, and you, Maharaj, you also saying, he did not just end there. No, he took that virtue and then went to law school, became a powerful lawyer, became a politician. and he did all the amazing things he's done. His name will never disappear from the face of this earth. So yes, taking care of cows is amazing, but we should not just end there, because we live in this material world and the things are changing. Especially if one knows that he cannot maintain his family solely on taking care of the cows. We have to be practical.
Sure. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Whatever we want to do, whatever services we are interested in doing, we should also think about how to be able to maintain our families. You know, that should be brought into focus so that we plan accordingly. All right.
Thank you so much. All right.
In the absence of any other questions, we'd like to adjourn this meeting today.
Oh, Maharaj, 1 second before you leave. Shima Bala Prabhu, do you have something? Bala Prabhu is here, Maharaj. Shima Bala Prabhu, you have something to share? Please unmute. I hope you are at the temple.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare
Pranam
Krishna.
to
Thank you, Prabhuji.
my obeisances to Maharaj. Thank you very much. Wonderful class.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Salika Prabhu, anything before we let Maharaj go? Okay. Maharaj, we thank you so much. Please. Sati, please. Okay, be quick. Sati, please go ahead. We cannot hear you,
Hare
Sati.
Krishna.
Okay, good. We can hear you.
Hare Krishna, please don't hold obeisance. I'll go show Prabhupada. I'll go to all the Vaishnavas. I just wanted to greet Maharaj because it's been forever since I've seen him. So I wanted to give him a greeting.
Oh, okay.
Oh, who is this?
Sati.
Sati.
Oh, Damodar Maharaj's
Yes.
disciple.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
where are you? I thought you're in the US, right?
In the US, yes.
Okay.
I'm in the Taliban.
Oh, New Taliban.
Yes, I'm staying there. I'm Pujari here. I adjust the duties in the morning and the evenings, and I do artis and offer boga.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a
Alright.
nice service. And there's cows here too. I also hang out with the cows. I don't milk them. I just
Yeah,
go and
you
pet
have
them and feed
New
them.
Taliban. You have cows there too. Yeah, I've been there before, long time ago. All right. Thank you very much, Sati, and keep on keeping on. Okay.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
All right.
Okay, so Hare Krishna devotees, we can ask all of you to unmute, and then we chant to big Hare Krishna, Muhammad, to express our appreciation for Maharaj's presence. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakapatarabhyasya kripa sindhya ivacha. Ketanam pavabhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha.
All glories to His Holiness, Sri Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj ki jai.